Hey there, I'm Zara PhD. I am the author of Minimalist Homeschooling. I'm also the creator of the Simple is the New Smart podcast and membership. I'm going to talk really briefly today about a better to-do list. So I go more in depth inside my podcast, on my blog, inside the membership. But today, let's just get really clear on a to-do list. So I am a homeschooling mother of 4. If you've never met me before, I get a lot of questions like, how do you do it all? How can I do it all? How come I can't fit it all in? And how come my life is just generally crazy and overwhelmed? So I am in this space to help the overwhelmed moms, especially the homeschooling moms, find some clarity, find some confidence, and find the focus and the value that they need in their days and in their homeschools so that they can really enjoy and embrace the journey. So if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that now so you don't miss any videos. And let's dive right into how to do a better to-do list. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now. So I want you to see some slides because this is a very visual thing to talk about. So why would we want a better to-do list? So we all have many, many jobs in this world, especially women who are mothers, who are spouses. We often have a job. If you're listening to this, you're likely a homeschooler. And so you have all these roles. You may be on a sports team. You may be involved in a ministry. You may be heading up some other organization. There are activities depending on you. There are people depending on you. There are jobs depending on you. And what happens if we use just a standard laundry list, to-do list, is that we can often end up with pages of all the big things and little things that need to be done, right? And it feels good to cross those off. To some of us, if you're a list maker, you love just being able to cross that off. Yes, brushed my teeth, cross it off. However, the satisfaction of crossing something off the list, I have found, does not outweigh the overwhelm that one feels when faced with pages and pages of things to do. The other problem with having lots of things to do is that we can do 18 things on that list and feel really great about crossing them off until we realize that the 1 or 2 really important things didn't get done today. And then we're deflated and our list basically failed us because it didn't prioritize anything for value. And so we really want a to-do list system that is focused, very simple, and it prioritizes the most important things so that we can feel really satisfied with what we've gotten done in the day. So let's talk about how this list works. First things first, you're going to generate categories. Those are your jobs. Those are your roles. Those are the purpose for which you were made, right? Maybe your job number 1 is being a mother, being a spouse, taking care of a home, teaching as a homeschool parent. You may have a job. Like I said, there are ministries, organizations, activities, whatever roles you have in your life. These are your big categories. These are your big things you do. Within each category, then, you also have projects, and you'll see that I always name maintenance as one of my projects within each category. So for my home, there's always maintenance. There's always dishes that have to be done. There will always be laundry that has to be done. There are these sort of maintenance things that I don't have to spell out, do the dishes on my to-do list, but maybe I do need the prompt to ask myself, is there any maintenance that's not getting done? Do I really need to focus on it today? And we'll get a little bit more into this. But the idea is then you also have projects. So within my home, not only is there this maintenance idea, but maybe I am remodeling the kitchen. Maybe I am sort of going through and purging all the toys in the basement. Maybe I have another project going on in my home. Similarly, in my homeschool, we may have our run-of-the-mill homeschool days, but we also may have big projects going on. So maybe right now we are focusing on studying something in particular, right? And so from that project list, that is where we will draw our daily to-dos. And so each morning we have these triggers, we have these prompts of these are our major projects going on in our life. What do I need to do to make those move forward? What would be valuable today in each of those projects that I need to make sure that I'm getting done? And sometimes we don't focus on a project every day. Maybe some days we're just going to ignore one of those projects for a little while, right? So let me give you a really more concrete example, but still hopefully vague enough so that you can plug in whatever you have going on in your life and whatever is important to you, right? So here's an example of sort of a better to-do list that relates to me. So if I look at my categories and projects, I have a home, right? And like I said, maybe there's a kitchen remodel going on. Maybe I'm purging the basement. That would be a project. And then I also have maintenance for the home. That's the doing the dishes, the doing the laundry, the sweeping the floors, the cleaning the bathrooms, the standard things that go into just maintaining a home, right? Business number one, maybe we have a new tenant. I've got to worry about a lease. I've got to get things signed. I've got to make sure the utilities get switched over, those sorts of things. That would be a project that we have going on right now that spans several days. We're always going to have maintenance in our businesses. We're always going to have to reconcile at the month. We're always going to have taxes that need to be paid. We're always going to have invoicing and accounts receivable and those sorts of things. Maybe in business number two, we are focusing on getting new accounts and servicing new accounts, right? You get the idea. So here our categories don't change. Those are relatively static unless some big life event happens, right? So you join a new group or a new ministry. Maybe you switch your jobs. Maybe you start a business. Maybe you change your business. Maybe you start homeschooling or stop homeschooling. These major life events will change your categories, but your projects are going to change, and your projects are going to change a little bit faster than your categories. Okay, a lot faster than your categories, but a little bit slower than just daily life. So your projects often span many weeks or many months, but at least many days, right? This is not something where you just have to do it today, right? These are things that are going to take a while before you're done with them. Okay. So once you have listed out your categories, once you have listed out the projects within each category, and you can see here under people, maybe child one, number one needs some special time. So I have an oldest child with huge passions and interests, and sometimes I need to make sure that I remember that he needs me for those. He needs me to drive him to the places. He needs me to listen to the ideas, to buy the supplies, to be his support for that project, right? And so maybe that has been, something that's really on the forefront in our home, that he needs this additional support right now. So under people, you can write if there's a project like that going on where somebody needs you more than usual or something needs you more than usual. And then there's maintenance for people. Is there somebody you need to call? Is there just a child in the home who's been feeling neglected? Those sorts of maintenance items also are something that you're going to think about every morning. So each morning you then look at this list, and now you are going to choose only 5 or 6 things that must get done this day. Maybe 4 things, but I wouldn't go with more than 6. These are 4 or 5 things you must get done this day. Maybe you must call the contractor about your kitchen remodel. Maybe you must make sure that the laundry gets done today. Every other day, it sort of goes on its own. Every once in a while, you're doing a load, but maybe it's gotten a little overwhelming now, and you must make sure laundry gets done. Or maybe you must get the new lease written today. Or maybe you just ignore business number 2 right now because nothing must get done today. Nothing must get done in your homeschool. Nothing must get done with your hobby. But you do need to do 5 or 6 things in these other categories in your life, right? So basically your project list now serves as your prompts for your daily to-dos, and they are going to be focused and they are going to be valuable. You're talking about what's going to have an impact, not just all the things in the world that you could do, should do, want to do. This is what must get done today, because a lot of our lives are on autopilot. A lot of times we will go through a standard homeschool day. A lot of times we will go through standard home maintenance. It just happens. This to-do list is a way that we make sure that the most important things are getting the attention that they need. And so when we are talking about a to-do list, I want to make sure that you realize that one of the benefits of having a focused to-do list is that it reins us in. The categories that I showed there, I have 6 categories, which generally applies to my life. If I have more than 6 categories, I'm not going to be able to manage it all. And I don't feel like I'm going to be able to manage it all effectively or enjoyably. At that point, it becomes too much for me, right? So the average person, I would say, does really well and is really happy with 4, 5, or 6 categories. More than that, we need to start reining it in and deciding, how did so much come into our lives? Why are we doing so many jobs and fulfilling so many roles, and which roles are really impactful? And this is where the intentionality comes into our life. And this is where we want to make sure that what we're doing and what we're spending our time doing is really valuable. I have several podcasts about time, valuing our time, using our time for our individual purpose. I encourage you to go listen to the podcast if you really want to dive into how to make the most of our time. This to-do list is just one tool for keeping things very focused. When you have categories and you realize that you have all these jobs and all these roles within each category, it's also important to realize that you can't have too many projects going on. You can't have 4 projects going on in your homeschool at once, plus maintenance. You can't have 3 projects going on in your home at once, plus maintenance. You can't have a big event plus 4 homeschooling projects, plus 3 projects at home, plus. So I have found that 1 or 2 projects plus maintenance within each category is plenty. Not only are we making progress that way, but I'm not spread too thin. I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm able to stay focused. I'm able to manage all those things and make progress with all those things. If we have too many things, too many projects, too many roles, too much maintenance going on, then we feel like we're treading water and we're never really making progress. And so what feels really great is to be able to cross out a project. We are completely done with a project, and then you replace that project with your next project, right? And this is especially important in our homeschools. We finish deep diving into anatomy and physiology. We can cross that off and now replace it with a new project above and beyond the homeschool maintenance. Same thing in our homes. If we have 3 different projects going on at once, the time it takes to finish all of those can be very defeating, right? So choose one project, get it done, replace it with your next best project. Okay, guys? So this is a much better to-do list in that it really keeps us focused and it really keeps us realistic and reasonable with our time. I'm going to leave you now with some additional resources that I have. I am online at zaraphd.com, and that's where you'll find links to all of my podcasts, all of my blogs, all of my videos. And I do have a Simple as a New Smart membership. You can access that through the website as well. I'm on Instagram at Zara PhD. I'm on Facebook at Minimalist Homeschooling. I also have a Facebook community groups /Minimalist Homeschooling Zara. I would love to see you at any of those places. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. I try to reply to all of them. And until the next time, I am wishing you all the simple things. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.